Once again, the sirens go off. Despite efforts by Buthelezi, a Zulu leader during apartheid, to pacify South Africans on the need to maintain peace, police in Johannesburg on Sunday used stun grenades and rubber bullets to battle protesters armed with knives and sticks, seeking to drive African migrants out of the city. The attacks on foreigners, including Nigerians in South Africa, has in no doubt heightened tensions in the continent. In the past, Nigeria has stood its ground on a number of occasions when defending its national interest. In the 1960s, Nigeria had a face-off with France over the latter's continuous tests of nuclear weapons in the Sahara Desert. The government of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa acted decisively, breaking diplomatic relations with Paris, expelling the French ambassador and imposing a full embargo on French goods. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Nigeria threatened economic action against Western powers for refusing to sanction the regime and supported the national liberation movements in South Africa. In the 1990s, the country, under the leadership of military ruler Sani Abacha, defied international sanctions and welcomed a visit by Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. It also directly intervened in the Liberian civil war, dispatching Nigerian troops to fight. Beset with so many threatening issues, the federal government, in response to xenophobic attacks in South Africa, withdrew its ambassador, withdrew from the World Economic Forum in South Africa, and encouraged its citizens in South Africa to return. The government also demanded compensation for victims of the attack and improved security for Nigerians in South Africa. But is it enough? While some would argue that these are just few desperate symbolic diplomatic moves, other Nigerians bear their minds on the matter.
To which the attack comes, we will have to realize the fact that the government is doing the very best that they can. Most people seem to forget that this is just the latest in a long series of attacks against Nigerians, either isolated cases or as a group. So there are already movement on ground to solve these problems before the advent of these current xenophobic attacks. So based on that, the government has to review the way they react, and I'm glad that they did it well.
Our government is always talking about discussing, they are reaching understanding, etc. Yes, you reach understanding with the government of South Africa. What about the understanding with the people who are engaged in the acts? South Africa is on record to have the highest rate of crimes in Africa. The government of South Africa cannot even lay legitimate claim to say they are able to deal with it. So if they cannot solve those problems, why would you think that the case of Nigeria will be exceptional? Let us reason as a people.
But one of the things our government should also do is making our environment conducive for employment for our nationals to stay at home. Tit for tat is allowed in diplomacy. You do me, I do you. But if we look at the effects, the long-term effects of all this, who will it affect more?
The federal government should have been proactive enough to ensure that Nigerians will not even react the way they have reacted. Because it is because the federal government did not do anything about it, Nigerians took the laws into their hands and began to destroy South African businesses here and there. So it is a reflection of the way the federal government regards life in Nigeria.
So we have to make a statement. We have to let the world know that look, we are in charge. That the lives of our citizens matter. They don't want to hear. I will keep on telling them, look, reason, listen and reason. They don't want to, adhere to that. We also touch their investments. Either we nationalize them on file, we then need to know that, look, we have a reciprocal kind of capacity to deal with your issue. And again, it's also an indictment on African Union. What are we doing as a continent? What is the function of OAU? Is that a jamboree kind of gathering where people come and speak grammar and everything and go? Do we have a kind of arm of OAU with the capacity to deal with any erring member of AU? Either in terms of British, in terms of economic manipulation, in terms of trade issue, in terms of the way you handle people of other nationals in your own country. Do you have any duty imposed or superimposed on the presidents of African countries on how to deal with citizens of other Africans in their country? Then if South Africans are no longer comfortable with what Nigerians are doing there, why must their own laws handle their own criminals? And then without handling Nigerian criminals, for your own laws, you subject them to court. For Nigerian criminals, you kill them, you maim them, you loot their shops. Can they tell us that Nigerians are the only criminals there?
While Nigerians wait for the next step of the federal government to end these attacks, more than 300 Nigerians have reportedly registered for evacuation to leave South Africa. Africa had once cried for South Africa, but today, Africa is crying because of South Africa. Rita Omodia, Galaxy Television, Lagos.